Hi guys, my name is Tiffany. Today I'm going to talk about David Fincher's 1995 Seven and his 1999 Fight Club. I'm sorry to say that there are some film busters in this presentation, so I apologize in advance if I ruin Fight Club for you, as I know you should have all viewed Seven. Additionally, I just want you to know that I actually wrote mine out because I didn't want to have random rambling, and I wanted to make sure that the presentation had a little bit of content in it. So bear with me as I read through this. Seven and Fight Club were actually both filmed in LA, and both movies are filled with a lot of violence, dark scenes, and urban decay that set the mood for the film and establishes the mindset of many of its actors. Seven is about soon-to-be retiring, calm and meticulous cop William Somerset, who's played by Morgan Freeman. He gets paired with a young and short-tempered David Mills, who's played by Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt recently moved to the city and transferred into his department. The two detectives work cases of murder in which messages and clues have been left behind. They quickly come to the conclusion that the murders are all connected and resemble the seven deadly sins. Fight Club is about an everyday man who is discontent with his job and seeks satisfaction by buying the most clever IKEA furniture pieces to feel more in control of his life. He suffers from insomnia and is eventually told by his doctor that if he wants to see real pain, he should try attending a support group for testicular cancer patients. While attending, he finds himself in a euphoric state of freedom and is relieved by his insomnia. He becomes obsessed with attending these support groups. He quickly realizes, though, that there is a female tourist whose appearance restricts his ability to find that euphoric state. So he confronts her, and they agree that they'll split the support groups up as a way to avoid running into each other. But before parting, they exchange phone numbers. Even though they attend separate support groups, this guy, we'll call him the narrator, he doesn't get the same feelings when he attends now. So back to work, he's on a flight home from a business trip, and he meets Tyler Duncan, who's a soap salesperson. The narrator notices that they have identical briefcases, and he begins conversing with Tyler. Upon getting home, the narrator finds his condo in flames. He calls Tyler. They meet at a bar. They have a couple of drinks, and by the end of the night, they're out back fighting. This ultimately results in them establishing a fight club. At first you think there couldn't possibly be anything similar about these two movies. There isn't anything similar in their storylines besides the violence. But the mise-en-scenes, this is very telling for both of the films. The violence in Seven isn't ever occurring until the end. However, the scenes of the murder are very grotesque and violent. It's easy to imagine how the murders might have occurred. On the other hand, the violence in Fight Club happens so often and stems from the desire of men wanting to feel or needing to showcase their masculinity. In addition to the physical fighting, these men become an organization called Project Mayhem and wreak havoc on their city, creating another form of violence. In both movies, these scenes are shot in dark or dimly lit areas, often taking place at night, to help create a more realistic environment for which these crimes would naturally take place. Not to mention, you never know what is beyond the dark, much like you can't tell what's going to happen next in the movies. Both films have dark and subdued tones, which are characteristics of film noirs. The angles and views in which the movies were shot were similar in that there were moments that you could see things happening as if you were standing from afar, like in the outer circle, lurking from a distance, and then from over the shoulder of a main character. I think this helps engage us, like when you first meet a new group of friends, you maintain a personal space, but then after you get to know each other, the personal space diminishes. You allow yourself to get closer. In Fight Club, the beginning fights were viewed from afar, but the latter half of the film were like more front row, second row viewing. In Seven, you see the crimes from a distance in the beginning, but then after the detectives have viewed everything and they're collecting the evidence, you get in close and you actually be able to explore the details with them. Lastly, I think that the overall themes were very different too. Seven focuses on people's ability to commit sins, and the villain, he believes that it is his job to bring light that society's values and morals are shot. As he says towards the end, he was chosen to commit these murders. He believes that without him setting these examples, no one can or will change. His notes and clues suggest that we are all connected, and one person's actions can and do affect the next person's. Some themes in Fight Club deal with society and class. Project Mayhem wants to eliminate all debt so the entire economy can start a clean and equal slate. It is very evident there is a strong defiance for rules and order against their society, and there is a roller coaster ride of emotions for the narrator as he navigates through his insomnia and isolation through the movie. However, I think the similarities in the themes are that both films are battling a society created by all of the everyday people, and that isolation and imagination can be harmful if they are not in a healthy mindset. In both films, what one person does actually affect the next. In the murders in Seven, many of the murder victims were linked to each other. For example, the murder of Greed was of an attorney who got charges of rape dropped against a man whose murder, so the accused rapist was murdered, and his murder was labeled sloth. In addition to the effects of how they're all created, these deaths ultimately also affect their loved ones, and they do play an effect on the detective. In Fight Club, the organization became so dependent on one person that they were more like a cult, to the point of creating a monarchy. So even though these films actually have a lot of differences, if you get down to the deeper meaning of them and you start picking apart characters and looking at the scenes and the props and the way the movies are actually filmed together, there's actually quite a few similarities. You just have to look for them. Thanks for watching.